This is Eagle Owl, and today we're going to talk about the Isaiah Rodgers thing. Well, it's good that we're talking about him because we are playing the Vikings, but it's reports out there that he technically wanted to leave. I will go with my theory of what I believe happened. Also, the vibe just seemed right listening to AJ, Jalen, and Saquon. Something just seemed right in that locker room, and we're getting the vibes back. But let's get straight into it. All right, man. The injury report came out. We gonna go over that. Who was hurt? Who's coming back? And let's get into it. So we had Grant Calcaterra still dealing with a rib injury. Then you have Landon Dickerson, who was out there practicing. I seen the picture, but he was limited. Quinyon Mitchell was out there. He was limited. Zach Bond dealing with some injury, finger, full participant. Then you got Jalen Carter, heel, who was a full participant. And Jordan Davis dealing with a shoulder, full participant. And Jordan Davis been really quiet. So I'm not surprised he's dealing with something. These past couple games, not much from Jordan Davis. We're going to watch and see what he can do or what's going on. But Jordan Davis honestly been really silent. Unless it's something I'm missing, put it in the comments. But he's been silent. And don't worry about Jalen Carter. Sound like he's going to play. Let me go ahead and play this clip.
How does your heel feel, and do you feel like you'll be ready to play against the Vikings?
My heel feel good, getting recovery, going in tournament, working with them guys. They get me back right. They ain't gonna be the fastest, but they get me better, and I feel good enough to play this week.
What happened, Jalen? Was it during practice?
Yeah, it was during practice. Just like Loki came out of nowhere. Like started feeling some pain. Talked about it, got it looked at, told me what it was, and just moved on from there.
How close were you to playing Thursday night?
I was very close. I was down there at that time when I walked out. I thought, there's a chance I'll play, but went out there.
How much did you miss?
Felt like it wasn't right. So
did it have anything to do with the turf, the reputation there?
Nah, I'm gonna have to play on that turf every year for 2 times a year. So I wasn't a turf.
How much did you miss not playing, Jalen?
I miss a lot, man. Just being on the sidelines was never my thing. I never really missed games like that throughout my whole life, college and all. And then how the game went. You just want to be out there to help the guys and be an impact to the team. But I couldn't do nothing at the time. We on the next week, this week, and thankfully we played them again. Next week.
So yeah, it seemed like we're getting guys back after the mini bye. And one of the things that's going around, the article that's going around, is that a player spoke to Jeremy Fowler in the Eagles locker room saying it does feel like 2023, something in that matter. But I watched the interviews and the press conference. Actually, the vibes seem just fine. And let's listen to N'Kobe Dean.
Like he spoke on it and that was it. Like he didn't beat a dead horse, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Like definitely after we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, we ain't gonna come in Monday and talk about how bad we were on Thursday. So we watched the film individually, but not as a defense. We moved on to Minnesota, and we know we gotta pick up the nastiness, the violence, and the toughness of the group, and we gotta get our swagger back. And I feel like I don't feel like I know it's gonna happen.
Last year when you guys were
I like that talk, the swagger. Even though the guy that gave the swagger to the Philadelphia Eagles, he's, on no roster. I mean, he's a free agent. We ain't gonna say no names, but he's out there. He could give a lot of swagger to the Eagles, but we just gonna leave that in the past. Profitex is a new peer-to-peer sports exchange where you could play against other fans and not the house. That means better lines and even a chance to set your own odds. Just sign up using my link below. Use promo code EagleOwl to get 1.5% back in Profitex cash for your first 30 days up to $200. Right, as you see here, so look at the Sunday games, man. I think the Eagles will bounce back against Minnesota. I like the over on this one. I believe we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to see explosiveness from this offense. Non-Marcus right now, I'm pretty sure as the day goes and days goes, it's going to be a lot more Marcus. But I like 43.5 here, and I like the Eagles to win and bounce back, man. I believe it's going to be a close one. So I would go money line here and the over on the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, man, if you want to get on the action, download the app, use promo code Eagle Owl, or you could just simply click the link in my description and let's get back into the video. But speaking of leaving stuff in the past, let's talk about Isaiah Rodgers. You guys know I loved Isaiah Rodgers here. Hell, I had my times when I went off for him, but at the end of the day, Isaiah Rodgers was a dog in Philadelphia. Even with the limited snaps, I thought he was the second best corner on the team. Now, when you look at the numbers with him in Minnesota, you look at Slay numbers and stuff like that, I always thought Isaiah Rodgers should start over Slay. That was just my personal opinion. But Slay did have a good year, but Slay kept getting hurt. And Isaiah Rodgers was pretty durable. And when he filled in, he looked like a starting cornerback, in my personal opinion. If it wasn't for that finger injury or hand injury he had in the beginning of the year, maybe we wouldn't have got a chance to see Quinyon until this year. But then we got to get to see Quinyon really early. He was a dog. We just had 3 dogs, right? And one of the things we kept going into the offseason saying, like, yeah, if Slay gonna leave, Isaiah Rodgers shouldn't cost much. We should be able to keep him. And then, but the main priority was to keep Zach Bond, which an article just came out of the blue, out of nowhere. It's like, hey, man, Howie Roseman actually offered Isaiah Rodgers a contract, or at least tried to match what the Minnesota Vikings gave him, but he chose the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I'm reading the article, and the article is basically dogging them because they like, yo, if you had all this love for Philly, why would you go to Minnesota? Why would you choose Minnesota? If we was going to match the offer, a team that gave you a chance after you were suspended, this, that, and the third, like they was going crazy on them, which I get that point. And this is what I think happened. Not speaking to anybody. This is just Eagle Owl theory on the Isaiah Rodgers thing and what exactly happened. This is what I think happened, right? We all knew Slay was going to leave, right? Slay was going to go somewhere else regardless. We trying to get younger, trying to get faster. Slay been here for years. Slay knew his time was up. The cap hit. And when the Steelers offer you 1 year, $10 million, it's like, that's too much. Like, go ahead, enjoy yourself in Pittsburgh, and Slay doing this thing in Pittsburgh. And the Vikings, offer $7.5 million, 2 years. And what ended up happening, I believe, even when the Eagles came with an offer, I believe Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo got really close. As crazy as it sounds, I believe those two got really close. There were some things I heard in the interview, like, Keely Ringo might have called Isaiah Rodgers his unk and all that type of stuff. And Isaiah Rodgers shut that down. Like, nah, man, I'm not no unk, this, that, and the third. That just lets you know how close they were and how cool they were. So what Isaiah Rodgers probably was thinking, he was thinking like, look, if I accept that deal in Philadelphia, my guy Keely Ringo will never get a shot. You know what? I'm going to go to Minnesota. I'm going to ball out there. I know I can start there. But Keely Ringo, this is your opportunity. All 3, 4, 5 of us was cool in the locker room. Keely, this is your shot. I'm going to go to Minnesota. I'm going to do my thing. Slay already in Pittsburgh. Look, take advantage. Do what you have to do. And, be the best player you can be in Philadelphia. Keely Ringo, I'm not going to take your spot. I'm not going to take your shine. I believe that happened more than him just walking out of Philadelphia. I truly believe he loved Philadelphia, but he wanted to give the younger guy a shot who been there for years, who waited for that opportunity, and he knew he had another opportunity in Minnesota. Now, if he didn't have any other opportunity and it was just the Eagles offer him that type of deal, I believe he's back in Philadelphia because he's, about his money, this, that, and the third. But what I believe happened, that cornerback room was tight, and he knew the only way my young bull was going to get a shot if I go to another team. And I think that's exactly what happened. Now, it sucks because the young bull, he gave a shot to is not that good. So now we looking at how we like, what the hell happened? Like, how you ain't 7.5 for 2 years? How the hell you ain't? You could have thrown 8, 9. That would have been a decent deal. But it comes down to how we did try. He tried, and he chose the Minnesota Vikings. But that's just my theory. My theory. But right now, Eagles fans are going to Isaiah Rodgers as expected because we are Eagles fans. That's what we do. Again, I had my emotional thing with Isaiah Rodgers when I thought he won it out. Ironically, an article comes out that he kind of won it out, but I don't think that was the case. I truly don't think that was the case. I think it was more of, I want to give my young boy a shot. And, Isaiah Rodgers, in the kindness of his heart, did not take the deal in Philadelphia, chose Minnesota. I believe for that reason only. Probably never come out and say it, but I think it's for that reason. But time to move on. Let's talk about the team, what's going on right now. So some of our guys spoke to the media, and A.J. Brown, man, he seemed up after 2 losses. This is not A.J. Brown from a couple years ago where he was going through a losing streak. You seen in his face he was down. But whatever happened in that meeting with Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, and everybody else, I told y'all the vibe just feel right. And let's listen to A.J. Brown speak on, like, let's not let the loss humble us. Let's just be the best we can be. Let me play this clip.
What's the vibe of the team as you guys try to right the ship?
You tell me. You listen. What you think? Sound normal, huh?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, normal, exactly. So, we're not letting a loss just humble us, and you can't let it humble. You got to keep going, and continue to find ways. This team is fine. This team is motivated and trying to get on the same page.
What do you see as the main issues with the offense?
Main issues? Self-inflicted wounds. Sometimes just lack of execution at the wrong time. If it's first down and you get lack of execution, it may not be the end of the world. But when it happens on third down, or puts us behind the sticks, that's hard to recover in this league. So I just think just being on the same page, the communication, and lack of execution. So.
I like it. The team seem upbeat. They seem ready to go. Go into that game with a positive vibe. You lost 2 in a row. How do we recover? I personally like it. And again, whatever happened in that meeting, it feels like when the offensive line went up to Kellen Moore last year. I'm getting that feel, but I still got to see it on the field. I'm definitely getting that feel because even like Jalen Hurts sound confident. He said the team after practice, still hungry, still motivated. That's stuff we want to hear. And let me play the clip by Jalen Hurts.
How we want to be, how we want to establish ourselves. And so we all have to help each other.
What's your sense of the state of the locker room coming off of the 2 losses? What stands out to you?
I see a group out there at practice that's flying around. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's in it.
Obviously, ebbs and flows. And
Small clip, but you get it. Jalen Hurts, this team, motivated, ready to go. A lot of smiles, a lot of positive vibes, no heads being down. I personally like that. And then I got to play a clip by Saquon Barkley. He seemed fine. He spoke to John Clark, and let me play this clip.
Kevin Patullo said that you guys all met as an offense and everybody's communicating, and this bye week can be as helpful as last year. How much did it mean to you and the offense, everybody getting together and communicating your ideas and trying to get the offense going here?
I think it's super important. We lost 2 in a row, but at the end of the day, 4-2 in a good spot right now. Just got to continue to get better, and I love the conversation that we have. I love where the mindset that we're going to, but at the end of the day, we got to go out there and execute it, and it's going to come down to tough detailing together, and that's the mindset that we're going to continue to have.
And you hope to find that offensive identity that you had last year, or whatever that identity is?
I don't want to give too much scouting information in Minnesota, but we look forward to getting right out there and getting things back on track.
Right, it's not how you go, it's how you get back up. That's it. That's enough said.
Again, man, everybody speaking about this meeting and what happened. I like it. Team in a positive mood. positive vibes. A lot of people getting healthy. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel, man? A lot of positive vibes. A lot of it, man. I love it. I love to see it. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm out.